All right, so the question asks me to find another point on the line given the slope and a point. So to start, I'll just start by kind of identifying things. So here's my slope right here. Here's my point, and then I want to find the other coordinate, the y-coordinate for this point right here. Now I've shown you how to do this algebraically, but I haven't shown you how to do it graphically. So I'll start by plotting my point 3, 4. So 3, 4 is right about here. Sorry if it's a little bit off, but I'll try my best. It's just hard to draw with my hand on the iPad, but that's not bad. So there's my point right there. Let's see if I can get the little scribble line. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually use your m value to figure this out. So you know that m equals negative 5 over 2, and you know that this is your rise, and you know that's your run. And so what you can do is, you know, your rise is negative 5, so it means you're going to go down 5 and over 2. So if I go down, I'm just going to try to approximate this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'm going to go down 5 to right here, and then over 2. And there is my next point right there. And so that's in one direction. So I'm at 3, and that got me over to 5. Well, if I backstepped, if I went up, instead of going and treating this like a negative 5, I can kind of treat this like a negative 2. So I can actually think of it like 5 over negative 2, which means now I go up 5 and to the left 2. Because don't forget that negative means the opposite of right, which is negative, which is left. So I'll go up 5 and then over 2. So I'll start by going to the left 2. So there's my left 2. Then I'll draw a little arrow there, and then up 5. I'm just trying to approximate it here. So I do it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So kind of to there. And my next point is right there. And I believe I need to figure it out when 1, or x is equal to 1. So when x is equal to 1, my y value is 9. Woot woot. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is the way that we've done traditionally that I've shown you how to do. And I'll just show you real quick. We already know that it's 9, but just another way to kind of figure it out. Now that we know that it's 9, I can quickly go m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is pretty easy now. You know that m equals negative 5 over 2, and you know that y2 is unknown. So we'll just pretend we don't know that it's 9. We'll just treat that like it's unknown. So we'll just make that y. And y1, well, that's 4, so minus 4 over x2, which is 1, and x1 minus 3. Okay, good. So I can clean this up a little bit to make it into negative 5 over 2, y minus 4, and 1 minus 3 gets me to negative 2. So now I'm going to cross multiply. So I'll go negative 5 times negative 2, which gets me to positive 10. And then if I go positive 10 equals, I cross multiply again. I go 2 times y minus 4. So that becomes 2 times y minus 4, or 2 bracket y minus 4. And I'm going to now clean this up by dividing this side by 2, dividing this side by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then these two cancel out, cancels out. Which is y minus 4. And then what's the opposite of minus 4? It's plus 4 and plus 4. Sorry if I run out of room there. And I know that these cancel out, and 5 plus 4 makes me 9. Therefore, and that's kind of the same as my answer up here, another way to get to the same answer. So just thought I'd show you that real quick. Again, I'll just show that again, just in case you missed. And this time it's going to be really tricky because I know that, well, I'll explain in a second. So here's my point to start. So we're at negative 2, 7. So I'm at negative 2, 7, so that makes my point right here. Sorry if it's a little bit tricky to see. And then my m is 4, and I got to figure out when y is 9. Or sorry, y is 15. So here's the problem. 15 is not on my graph, so there's 11 right there. So what I'm going to do, though, is we can also do some thinking here. We can do, okay, so negative 2, comma 7. So we know that this is rise over run, right? So that we know that we're going to do 4 over 1. So that's, we're going to add 4 to the y and add 1 to the x. So if I add, this is my first point. My second point, if I add 4 in the y, that gets me to 11. Right? I use my rise, which is the y value. I use my rise and I go up by 4. And then I go up by 1. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So I'm now at 1, negative 11, which should be right here on my table. Unfortunately, I am now extending beyond, so I kind of may have chosen this example on purpose just to show you an example where you're kind of being forced. Again, I go up by 1 because I'm going up by 1. That's what my run is, or what I'm going up by in the x value. And then I go up by 4. Why am I going up by 4? Because that's what my rise is. And 11 plus 4 gets me to, oh my goodness, look, well, y value of 15. So in this situation, x is 0 in this situation. So that's another way you can do it, where you just take the slope and apply it. And if you run out of graphing, but if we did, like, it would be probably somewhere around there, and that would be 11. And if we had enough graph paper, that would work. We could figure it out by graphing. We could also do it the way I showed you just a couple seconds ago. So let me just erase all that work. Give me a sec to erase. So that is a third method you could use if you want, if you don't like that graphing method or the algebra method. You could just apply slope to find it. Another way you can find it is you can do the algebra method. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're going to pretend we don't know our answer. M is 4. You could also think it was 4 over 1, which is fine. Our y2 is right here at 15. So that's 15 minus 7. I got 7 from right there. Over x2, we do not know x2, so we can write it as just x instead of a question mark, minus bracket negative 2. Mr. Smith, where did you get negative 2 from? Well, it's right there. 15 minus 7 gets me to 8. That's 4 over 1, and that's going to be a negative and a negative makes positive, so that's going to be x plus 2. Okay, so now I'm going to cross multiply. 1 times 8 gets me to 8. Good, and then I go with next cross multiply 4 and x plus 2. So then I go 4 bracket x plus 2. I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. My 4's cancel out. I'm left over with x plus 2. What's the opposite of positive 2? Negative 2. What's 2 minus 2? Oh my goodness. 2 minus 2 is 0, so therefore x equals 0 with the algebraic method as well. So that's how you can find the missing value using graphing. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 versus x1. Sorry, minus x1, or by just applying the slope.